Well, it's been a while since I made a video. It's because I haven't been knitting and I've been pretty busy, and I suddenly picked up counter cross stitch again. The counter cross stitch was the very first craft that I ever learned to do. I would say I was probably 7 or 8, and there was an owl. I'm going to try and see if I can find it. It was like your basic beginner learn how to cross stitch was an owl on a branch. I distinctly remember making that. And over the years, I've done the biggest project I did as a small child. I was probably maybe 5th grade, was a Smithsonian sampler for my mom, if I remember correctly. My mom can do all things, but counter cross stitch is hard for her. And I remember doing that. So I've done a lot of counter cross stitch things for her. And then I stopped doing it because it hurt my wrists. And then I learned to knit, and that was the end of that story. But I just recently got this in, well, I recently started picking it up again. And I finished a cat. I'll show you the cat, but I have this in front of me, so I'll share this now. I got this in the mail today. I ordered this through Amazon. The 12 Days of Christmas is my favorite Christmas carol. And I thought this was, like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I want that. I need that. It's big. It's 14 by 18. And I was just getting all the thread ready, getting that looped on the little piece of paper, and then got out the instructions. It is split in half. It looks a little overwhelming right now because there's a lot to this. But here's the top half, and then there's the bottom half. And if you're new to counter cross stitch, you always start in the middle. You fold your cloth in half and in half, and then that's where the centerpiece is, and then you know where to start. And that usually has it on your pattern. They'll have an arrow pointing to the middle, and then let's see, right here they have it down there. So this would be pretty much the center of your work. You can kind of figure it out from there. Really enjoy it. Really still enjoy it. There's something satisfying about doing counter cross stitch. This is a piece that I was working on in the meantime. I started this, well, I picked it up last night because I finished the cat. This is a seashell pattern from 1996 that's been in the closet, literally. I stuck it in the closet and hadn't worked on it in a long time. I did this shell last night, and then during Jenny has piano lessons, so I was finishing the outline on this. I hadn't quite finished the outline on this shell, and then I'll outline that. And I remember I was going to outline them as I go because I feel like it would be a little bit overwhelming to outline so many shells when you were done, because I'll show you the pattern here. I went and bought one of these magnetic boards yesterday. It's a lifesaver, especially now that my eyes are older, and the Post-it notes just weren't cutting it. They were not sticking. So if you don't know what these are, this is a really, they're not that expensive either. I think it's $4.49. And what you can do is you can put your pattern on there, and you can stick your magnet. And then if you're doing this shell, you can just move it down as you go. And that keeps track of where you've been and where you need to go. Let me flip this over. This is what it looks like. It's 62 seashells, and like I said, it's from 1996. I think I got this in the early 2000s, and here is what I have done so far. I've crossed these shells out. You can see. So there are quite a few more to go, but I think if I work on this off and on, do a little knitting, do a little stitching, work on some other things, and come back to it every once in a while. Maybe like try and at least finish a shell before you put it down again. I think that will be a good idea. Let me go get the cat. I'll bring you upstairs and I'll show you the little counter cross stitch cat that I finished. Let's see, I have the fan going in the background. The weather's starting to cool down, but it's not cool enough for my taste. This is just a little board. I also got this at the hobby store when I got the magnetic board. It's just a little sticky board to keep it flat, and you could eventually put it in a frame just using this. You can reposition it so it's not permanent, but this way the stitches on the hammock were more straight. If you follow me on Instagram, the picture I showed, I was like, this is kind of a crummy picture because these were kind of loose, but now that it's on the board, I think it looks pretty good. It's supposed to say try to relax right here, but I omitted that part of it. And then I think last time I made a short for this channel, I was showing the United States of America kit. I have that right here. Hold on. And I got the fabric for it because we're going to use some of the fabric for my daughter Jenny's costume. We're going to make patches for her costume with some of the fabric. And then I got enough. I definitely have enough for that. And it's 100% cotton. I also, oh shoot, just like in knitting and crocheting, you always have like a trillion projects. Now I have these. But hear me out. This is my idea, is to make these for, we have a house in practically Canada, northern Maine, and the mud room we call Lookout Point because it reminds us of being inside a lighthouse because it has like windows on two sides, well, the front door and the side window. It's just, we just call it Lookout Point for fun. I thought it would be neat to cross stitch some mermaids, and I do have a little lighthouse kit that's coming that I got off of eBay. And what I did is I ordered some cloth that is this same size. This is just 9 by 12, but it's tie-dyed, and I think I got the one called Mermaid Tail. I think that's what I ended up doing. And I think that would level it up instead of just using this brown. It's kind of almost the same brown as that cat. And I think it would just make it a little bit fancier, give it a nice, really cool look. I don't think I would put Sea Beauty on here. And then I thought the Mermaid Tail, the colors I think are pink and blue. And so if it doesn't go well with that color scheme, I did get another one. I got another mermaid kit. I don't like how her nose has that like 2 lines on either side, so I might just make one flat, like straight line that way. But for some reason it looks like she's kind of smelled something stinky. She smelled some stinky seaweed. But isn't those pretty? Aren't those pretty? Are those pretty? So I have 2 mermaid art pieces that definitely will go up in the house in Maine, and then I also have a little lighthouse kit that's coming as well. So if the cloth that I got that's tie-dyed looks better with this color scheme, because I'm seeing like a little castle back there, I might use it on this one. Luckily they're the same size. I've never used that company before, and that is something that I never saw before when I was counter cross stitching a lot. And then this piece right here, I don't know if I ever showed it on this channel here. This I got at a thrift store. This is Mary Englebright. A ton of work went into this. Ton of work went into this. So I bought it and I put it on this board. It kind of has a little, it's foamy a little bit. So I do need to find a frame for that. And then the newest piece that I found, I just am not ready to give this up. I just think this is so nicely done. This is in a frame. As you can tell, obviously it's in a frame, and I just really think it's so pretty. Someone did a really nice job on that as well, so I'm just not quite ready to let that go. So this is also a little vintage candle and a little Fenton bell. But right now I have a little, I guess you could say I have a little collection of cross stitch up here. 5/3. It's an accidental collection, as I like to say. So that is what I've been up to. Not a lot of knitting, doing a lot of counter cross stitch. Haven't worked on my temperature blanket, but we are going up to Maine. So I might bring that up because it'll keep me warm while I work on it. And got to get that done. But that's ongoing. That's like, I feel like an ongoing project. But I really do need to get back at that. I think my thing with that, here's my excuse. I think it's a good excuse. My thing with that was I was stuck with like 2 colors because it was hot and it was the same temperature. It was just like the temperature was just not changing at all. I want highs and lows, and it was just like the same colors. And I was getting really tired of the same colors over and over again. So that is my excuse why I have not worked on my temperature blanket. And then I suddenly picked up the cat and I was like, oh, let's do some counter cross stitch. And then I started doing that. So that's my reason. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope your projects are going well and that you're finishing them, or you're starting something that you're super excited about. If you started a new project lately, let me know in the comments. I love reading them and seeing what you're up to. All right, I'll catch you on the next one.